this is Amanda, and on this episode of Eat Kindly with me, we are going to be making a family favorite, stuffed poblano peppers. I am so excited about this recipe, mainly because it is one of my personal favorites that my mom makes. It's super yummy. Traditionally, stuffed poblano peppers, or Chile Rellenos, is a green pepper battered with egg and flour and fried, and it's usually stuffed with cheese, but sometimes it's also filled with meat or other vegetables like potatoes. So today, to veganize it, we are going to be using Just Egg, which is a vegan egg brand, super similar to egg. And on top of that, we're going to be using two different types of vegan cheeses: vegan feta cheese from the brand Follow Your Heart and vegan provolone. So with all that being said, let's hop right in. So for this recipe, we are going to be making 4 chile rellenos, which is enough for 4 people. So a good rule of thumb is to use 1 potato per chili. So I'm going to be using 4 of these small, I would say they're like Yukon Gold or white potatoes. They're the ones that when mashed are very soft in texture. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash these, and then I'm just gonna throw them in this pot. So we're going to boil this until the potatoes are so soft you can just put a knife through it very easily. So that'll take about 15 to 20 minutes. So these are the peppers we are going to be stuffing today. These are your pretty average Poblano peppers. You want peppers that are pretty, I guess, medium to large sized, and ones that are pretty straight, because we are going to be roasting these over an open flame, and we want to make sure that all sides are evenly burned or blistered. So again, since I'm using 4 potatoes, I'm going to be making 4 chilies. So I'm just gonna wash these, pat them dry, and then we can start roasting them. All right, so we are just gonna put this on the highest setting and then place our chili right over. Definitely use some tongs. You wanna be safe about this. I am gonna lower the heat just a little bit because this flame is high. And we're just gonna let it stay for about, I don't know, a few seconds on each side. You will hear some popping, but don't be alarmed. It's just the chili doing its thing. So you guys will start to see that it'll start to blacken, but that doesn't mean it's completely ready yet. You want the full side to be dark. So just give it some time. Then I'm gonna flip this one too. So you'll start to see in this back one, it's getting a very nice char, and you'll see some of these black bits are peeling off. That's exactly what we want to happen, but in the later stage, it's totally fine though. This means we're on the right track. So as soon as the peppers are fully charred all the way throughout, we're gonna go ahead and add this to a large Ziploc bag. And then while we wait for the other ones, we're just gonna go ahead and close this partially, and then just repeat the process. Okay, so that was the last one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this in with the others. And we're going to let these steam for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna set these to the side, and then we can start working on our filling. So to season our filling, we're going to be using garlic, salt, and black pepper. And then we are also going to be using this vegan cheese instead of, I believe, cotija cheese. Mexican cotija cheese is what's normally filled in poblano peppers, but we're going to be using these Follow Your Heart feta crumbles, which I swear tastes like Mexican cheese. It's so crazy. It tastes more like cotija than it does feta. So good. When dicing tomatoes, I usually just like to cut it in half like this. Then I will go across and cut these strips, and then I will just go across. All right, so our potatoes look ready. I'm going to strain them in the sink. And I would let them sit there just for a bit because they are piping hot, and we do still need to peel them. So now we're going to get started on our tomato sauce. I'm not sure if tomato sauce always comes with chile rellenos or stuffed poblano peppers, but it is what my family does, and I absolutely love the flavor that it gives it. So we're going to start off by boiling 3 Roma tomatoes in filtered water. You'll know it's ready once the skins of the tomatoes start to peel off. So you guys will see that this skin just comes off very easily. So you can do this over the sink to like help with mess, I mean, I'm just gonna do it here. And then once the potatoes are peeled, I'm just gonna add them to this bowl. This also does not have to be perfect by any means. Honestly, like I do not mind potato skins at all in my filling. I actually kind of like it. So just do it to the best of your ability. Okay, there we go, that's good enough. So now we can go ahead and mash our potatoes. You could use a potato masher, but honestly, I feel like a fork works just fine. All right, and then go ahead and add in your tomato. And then we're also going to be adding a 1/4 cup of our vegan feta cheese. So I'm gonna start off with a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then 1/2 teaspoon of garlic salt. And here we have it, you guys, our filling for our Chile Rellenos. So now that this is done, we're gonna put this to the side, and it looks like this is perfect timing. Our tomatoes look totally ready. So as you can see, the skin has started to completely peel off from the tomato itself. So this is how we know that they're ready. And don't worry, we're not peeling these. We're just gonna throw them in the blender. We're also going to be adding in 2 garlic cloves, 1/8 of an onion, and then we're also going to be adding these fiery little guys. These are called chile de arbol chilies, and they're normally used in red salsas or sauces to bring up the heat. They are kind of spicy, and these I actually pan fry them dry, no oil at all, until they get kind of blackened on both sides. This helps toast them and brings out a lot more of their flavor. This really depends on how spicy you want your sauce. If you're not that okay with spice, only add 1. Or if you like your sauces really spicy like me, I would add 3. And then we're also going to be adding in 1 cup of this water that we used to boil the tomatoes. And we're also going to salt to taste. I'm going to start off with, I would say, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. And then we could start blending. Oh, actually, Mexican oregano. And I'm going to be adding in a heaping 1/4 teaspoon. Now we could blend. So at this point, I would taste the sauce and see if it needs any more salt. Oh wow, that's very good. I would add a little bit more salt. Like I said many times, adjust to your liking. Now what we're going to do is cook the sauce again and let it simmer for a bit. This adds such a great flavor to the sauce. I don't know why we do it, but it's just something my mom does, and I swear it works. So I'm going to go ahead and add in 2 tablespoons of canola oil. I would highly recommend using either vegetable oil or canola oil because oils such as olive oil can't be burned at a very high temperature. Otherwise, it'll change the oil's flavor and it'll definitely affect the sauce's flavor. So now that our oil is hot, I'm gonna go ahead and add the sauce. Be careful though, because when adding your sauce to hot oil, it will jump up at you. So I would have your spoon ready. And then to this, we are also going to be adding 1, 2, 3 sprigs of cilantro. And then we're just gonna let this simmer for about 5 minutes. All right, so while this simmers, I'm going to get started on peeling our peppers. So these have been sitting the entire time I've been cooking, but like I said, they can really sit longer than 15 minutes. I would say 15 minutes is just the minimum. So I'm gonna take one out, and immediately you'll see that this skin comes off so easily. So our goal is to just peel off all of this outer skin. Just be careful when you're doing this because these peppers are a little delicate now that they've been, completely burnt. All right, so here we have a peeled poblano pepper, and then I'm just gonna repeat the process with the other peppers. So the next step would be to either find a hole that you ripped yourself or to slice one open into the pepper. So I'm not gonna cut it from the very tip all the way up here because I do want these peppers to still remain closed when I'm frying them. So I'm going to go about 1 inch above from the tip and then gently come up. And then I'm also going to remove the seeds from the inside and gently pour them out into the sink or the trash, if that's easier for you. I just like to remove most of them. It's totally fine though if a couple stay inside. So now it's time for the fun part, filling. So I like to add 2 different cheeses into my chile rellenos because I think it adds a nice gooey, yummy texture. So I'm going to start off by adding a slice of vegan provolone into each one. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take out 1 slice. And then I just kind of taco it and put it inside. Sometimes it does tear, like so, which makes it a little bit easier, honestly. So I'm just gonna put it into each side, and then I'm just gonna repeat the process. All right, and then now time to fill. The amount you add in is going to depend on how big your pepper is. So far this is 4 tablespoons or a 1/4 cup. A good rule of thumb is to just close it like this, and if you're still able to close it, then it's completely fine. This one is a bit larger, so I'm gonna add a bit more filling to it. All right, this looks good, and I still have a lot more filling. The next step is frying our chile rellenos. I know this is a very intensive recipe, but I swear it is so worth it. These are really, really good. I am going to experiment and close these with toothpicks just to see if they fry a bit better. Now for our egg, we are going to be using just egg. If you have never heard or have used this brand before, it is basically the equivalent of scrambled eggs or like the pre-scrambled egg mixtures. It cooks beautifully and it tastes so similar to egg, it's kind of scary. So we are going to be using this in 1 pie pan. And I would say a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup is a good amount. In our second pie pan, we are going to be using all-purpose flour. I think for 4 chile rellenos, 1 cup of flour is just enough. I'm also going to go ahead and prep our oil just so it's hot and ready to go when these are battered. Okay, I would say I added a little bit less than 1 cup of oil. All right, so first, we're gonna go ahead and dip this into the egg. So interesting, I've seen other recipes for chile rellenos and people will dip it in the flour first and then the egg, but this is what my mom does, okay? So I'm just gonna do what Mama Castillo told me to do. All right, there you go. They look super chaotic and messy, but this is how I like them. We do want this really hot when we add in the peppers. Otherwise, it's gonna absorb a lot of that oil, and we do not want a greasy chile relleno. Okay, I think it's ready. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add these in with some tongs. So it looks like I'll only be able to fit about 3 at a time. I'm now noticing the toothpicks are really sliding out, so I don't think they really make that much of a difference. So we're gonna let these cook for about 1 minute to 2 minutes per side, maybe 3 minutes, we'll see. All right, I'm gonna flip these now. It's been about 1 minute, and if you guys can see, it's starting to look golden brown, and it feels a little hard to the touch, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so now we are going to combine our chile rellenos and our tomato sauce. So I'm going to turn on this pan. This is the same pan we fried the chile rellenos, but I dumped the oil in a container and I just wiped it down, no need to wash it. So at this point, I took out the toothpicks and I'm just gonna place them in with the open seam up top so the fillings aren't coming out. And I'm just going to use this spoon to ladle on some of this sauce. So at this point, I like to add in about 2 to 3 more sprigs of cilantro. All right, you guys, we are now ready to plate. I am so excited. I'm also very hungry, very, very hungry. And I like to serve this with a little bit of fresh cheese right on top. And a little bit of cilantro. There we go. Yay! Here we have it, you guys. Vegan Chile Rellenos or stuffed Poblano peppers. Absolutely delicious, and I cannot wait for you guys to try it. But before you do, I am. All right, let's go in for a bite. There we go. Wow. Guys, the provolone in this makes a huge difference. It tastes like gooey, melted, yummy cheese. It's amazing. You guys need to try this. It's super, super yummy and it will not let you down. Well, this is Amanda for Live Kindly. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have you ever made stuffed poblano peppers? Do you think you're gonna try this recipe? Let me know down below in the comments. Also remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you again next time.